Hello, everybody. I'm back. And for this episode, I called on two of the greatest hosts a podcast can find. You can find them everywhere on My Indy Hookup and much more. They are some of the greatest people I have gotten to have on the show. And I'm so lucky that they took time out of their very busy schedule to come here and chat with us here on the KGC show. So please give it up for the great Indie Hookup host, Ricardo Love and Heston Cleveland.
Hey, uh, I tease people for getting Ricardo's name wrong. My name is Heston Cleveland.
Heston Cleveland.
Yes, son of superstar Carrie Cleveland.
The queen.
And like Ricardo said, and Queen. Uh, it's an honor to be here, man. Thank you for reaching out and having the time out to bless us with this meetup. But I guess since we're thanking each other, we got to thank our mutual friend, Jeffrey Panzer.
Shout out to
Man,
Jeff.
love that man. Love that man. Shout out to Jeff Panzer.
That's right. And we'll get to him in just a few minutes because we can't have a podcast without mentioning the name of Jeff Panzer. And this is a total surprise to Jeff. He doesn't know that I've actually reached out to you guys to do an interview. So this is a complete surprise to him. But I do want to talk to you guys a little bit about how did you guys get started for having a love and passion for music?
Well, I guess I'll start. Since I beat Ricardo to the punch, and we have a running joke. How we put together our show. We'll get to that later. But I grew up in a musically inclined family. My mother and father toured all up and down California, the greater San Francisco Bay Area, and they had a name. The name of their group was the Creative Set. My father pressed up 1,000 copies, and back in 1980, that was a big thing. He was trying to get it played in the radio stations, but that fell short. So one day I bumped into a box of original copies, and my stepfather had just passed, and my mom needed the income, because you lose Social Security when someone dies. So I called around and, hey, these are worth money, so we start selling them, and a record label reached out to us. And to jump to now, the copy was reissued. We were doing great. The numbers were good, but they weren't really what I understood to be good. So the record label said, well, your mom is 78 years old at the time, and she will not be
68.
no 78. She was 78 at this
Oh,
time. And he says, we got to move on to the next artist. And I'm still getting phone calls and people messaging me, man, I just heard your mom's music. Oh my God, it sent shivers down my spine. And I'm like, you know, I took myself outside the box and not listening to the music because of my mom, and listening to it for her as being a lover of music. And I was sharing it. People start liking it. They start sharing their music. So a radio station had reached out to me and said, man, all these independent artists, you should do a radio show. So they set me up. I have my own little radio show that will play on their station twice a week. And it was on SoundCloud, and it was called Heston's Hits. So at this time, I met Ricardo. And due to COVID and everything fizzled out, and the guy said, I can't do it anymore, Heston. I got to do this and I got to do that. So I thanked him, for his time, and I still would submit music to a lot of people. So Ricardo, he reached out to me and he said, let's do a show. So we have a mutual family. It's a group of us and we call ourselves family. We have a mutual sister named Sabrina. She's a host of the Just Chat with Bree show on KYBN radio. She talked to owner Dr. Ramsey, shout out to him, for giving us a slot on his radio station. So I'm like, hey, Ricardo, I've been sending music to all these radio stations for these last 4 or 5 years. Let me start submitting the radio show. And Caden, one by one, they start picking it up, telling me this, telling me that. So right now, as of today, we're on 22 different radio stations that play us over 60 times a week. We're on YouTube, iHeart, Amazon Music, Deezer. And did I say iHeart? See, we on so many platforms, I'm repeating myself. But it's been a great thing. A lot of radio stations are starting to push the independent artists. I mean, this show right here that we've got done has 3 American Idol artists on there, and shout out to Jimmy Starr for blessing us with the beautiful music. So right now we're on show number 126. We're coming up on our 2-year anniversary. Ricardo and I, we go back and forth. He's a heartbreaker. I come to him all happy and giddy and throw it across to him, and he'd just, like he duck hunts, the skeet flying, he shoot it down. But it's a perfect fit, because I'm overhyped and he's more laid back and more of a realist. So we mellow each other out. I'm the one that runs my mouth. See, he ain't even said nothing, and we've been running for about 10 minutes now. But that's how it is. We're perfect together. And we met Jeff Panzer. I didn't even know who he was. It took somebody from England to let me know who he was. I'm like, oh my God. And I met him as a personal friend first. Know nothing about the music, nothing about him. I met him on X, aka Twitter, and he always throwing love and support, telling me about my mom, and I'm loving what you're doing with your mom. So he came with Stella, and Stella is an amazing young lady. I talk to her almost every day, just like I'll call Jeff, and he's like a mentor to us, and he's always looking out for us. So I better shut up and let Ricardo say something.
Yeah, yeah. Gordon, you're gonna have to jump in if you go get a word. No, I'm just messing with you. No, I won't go into my full musical story, but I basically start off as a guitarist who couldn't keep a band together, so I had to learn all the other stuff, getting into production, becoming a music producer, learning how to play all the different instruments by myself to put it all together. Then the artists want to come out, you had to learn how to do graphics, you had to learn video. So by the time I met Hess, his brother had those classic hits, and we did 4 remixes of his mother's songs. And that's when we were trying to get those on radio play, going through this whole system of paying people hundreds and thousands of dollars. And then we decided to do it ourselves because, like you said, our friend Sabrina So, and once we started that show to get on airtime, which that's a major terrestrial station, KYBN, in Mountain View, California, that led to us getting the other shows. And that's where Heston's gift of gab comes in because he'll just beat them down until they, including yourself. I would still believe we are on the Caden Gordon network, the Indy hookup. So you know how it is. He hit you with the emails and follow up, and hey man, why ain't our show playing and all that good stuff. So yeah, so that's what we've been doing, man. And our concept is cooperative marketing. Like it's so hard to with the algorithms and stuff. So if we play you as an artist, we'd like you to play at least the show that you were on, and that helps all the other 14 artists that was played that show. And then we figure that we'll come up together, and with other radio shows, they're not charging us to be on their platform, and we're not charging us. We promote the people who promote us, and we believe that we can all come up together, and that's what we've been doing.
Amen. Amen. And we all really do need each other. So, what has been for both of you? What has been the best part about doing a show like this, where we've not so much focused on the mainstream radio and stuff like that, but the next big thing? You guys can back me up on this. The next big thing is to come out of this independent artists, and these independent artists are raising the bar of the music scene to a whole nother level. So how does it feel to you guys to know that you guys are a part of not only what they are doing, but to have a part in the indie world?
Let me go and jump into that before you get going good ahead. The we one of the things he say that we argue back and forth is I'm just because you're independent doesn't mean you shouldn't be professional. So I appreciate the artists that can do a professional sound without the big machine of a major artist. And because of the new technology, we're able to do that. We're able to craft out our ideas in our home studios and still make it sound professional with plugins and all that kind of good stuff. Hopefully you have a little money to spend on a mix engineer and an engineer, but even if you don't, you probably could get something pretty close. And so
Do
While
you
he's struggling, I'll jump in. uh, the biggest joy I have is playing a new artist's music, and then we change shows every Monday, and for them to come back like on a Thursday or Friday and hold up a screenshot of their numbers going up, and they're like, "Wow, it's working! Thank you guys, thank you, thank you, thank you." The biggest joy I have is for artists to thank me, the gratitude them showing me, and then like say one young lady, I'll even say her name, Tesla Nay, Southern Soul singer, uh, double gold album. Um, we promoted her. I met her, finding people for Sabrina because I'm the gatekeeper for her interview platform, and I reached out to Tesla Nay and got her an interview. So we became friends, and for her to message me, hey, check your Cash App. And as she said it, I got the notification. She gave me a couple of $100. She said, "This is I'm blessing you like you blessing me." It's not about the money. Another young lady that I call my buddy, Lori Nebo, more of a northern soul type singer from New York. Caden, beautiful voice. I'm she's like a family member. She'll do stuff for me, or like say if we need studio work done, she'll come in and do backup vocals or do whatever we want. We have a pretty big community that we're building, and every day more and more people are joining. And like Ricardo said, it's easier not to charge. That way it won't lower the quality of the music we get. Now, there's no thing you really have to do is just send your music in to either the Indy hookup, and the Indy is Indy at gmail.com, or Heston Cleveland 5 at gmail.com. And if we listen to it and we like it, we'll put it on the show. And then if we don't put it on that show later on down the line, you never know. It'll be on that show. And then once it's played, the radio stations, they can play it as much as they want. 6 radio stations play us 5 times a week. Another one plays us 4. A few others play us 2 times a week. And then we have the specialty show that's 1 time a week. So that's how we're getting all the multiple plays. And the radio station, they even messaged me, like Bushrod Music Radio. He's down in Bakers, Louisiana. And he'll go, man, I really like that reggae show. You mind if I play it again? No. Play what you like. That's why we have so many shows. I just send them, I'll send them a few. If they like it and they want to play it multiple times, I'll send them the whole file. And then it's like, I'm about to show my age. It's like opening a Cracker Jacks box. You don't know what's inside. You get that special toy. I'll listen. Okay, you come on it. Say a show comes on Wednesday. I don't know what they're going to play. But when they start playing it, I go, oh. And then if I have that time, I'll screenshot it and send it to the artist. And they'll laugh and joke. Oh, I remember that, man. Thank you for looking out for me.
And we
It's a
make
lot.
sure that what part of the format when we're playing the song, we say the name of the artist and the name of the song because we want people to go and get them. And when they're on YouTube, that's also a reporting platform that they can get credits and plays and stuff like that. So it depends. A lot of the stations that they will report. The other ones, it might be in one long format, so it might not necessarily report, but it's definitely a promotion, and especially because we're saying the name of the artist and the name of the song, so they could, Shazam it, or just go look up the artist directly. So we're definitely a promotional service for the artists. We offer the interviews, we offer mixing and mastering if they need anything else. A lot of times we'll run across something like, man, this is a really good song, but you might consider mixing this again. You might, pitch correction or whatever. You're almost there. And then sometimes that's when me and Hessa, he'll say, let's go ahead and play him anyway. So we might get one, maybe two a show or something that might not all be all the way there, but we're giving people opportunity that probably wouldn't get played on radio station. Then we got some others that's super professional, sound as good or better, and that's what we've been leaning toward lately. Really good artists that just sound like why they not on mainstream radio.
Yeah.
The stories, we talking to different artists, and I'm like, wow, you were famous. Like, look, our mutual friend, Stella. We've interviewed her
Twice.
twice in a 3-month span. And this time she was talking, well, I was signed with Sony, blah, 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 blah. That's how I met Jeffrey and blah, 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 blah. And then I was signed to Universal. And I'm like, Stella, you famous, huh? And she started laughing. We laughed. I'm like, you're pretty famous. And then we've interviewed Terry Green, 3-time Grammy winner. We play Alvin Garrett. We're due to interview him. He's a Grammy nominee. And we got, like I said, 3 American Idols on this show that we are going to be interviewing. So the class of artists we're getting is getting bigger, and Kate, to show you that I know we're growing, I'm not gonna say any name, but it was this young lady that I had met that was way up there, wouldn't give me the time of day. Oh, I'm busy, I'll call you back. Or wouldn't return, wouldn't even look at my text. Now I call, she stop what she doing and pick up the phone. That tells me we build. And that's going to be our trademark.
Yeah, and that's one of the things as hosts, that from all three of us, we just want our artists to do well. And one of my many, many favorite interviews that I'm going to cover three that you've done, but one of my many, many favorite interviews that the both of you guys have done, please talk about Kate Staton, because that she is a natural gifted talent. So what was it like interviewing Kate?
You know, I've been knowing Kate for years now. Years. I met her in this big music scam on Twitter. It was this lady that was supposedly hosting the Indy Artist Awards. It was a yearly thing where she would judge and promote artists from all over the world. And we were all excited. And we found out through this one lady that it was a scam. So we all were taken, and it brought us all closer together. And Kate was in that group, and I knew she made music. And I would go, Kate, send me some music. And she sent me some music, and it played on a few shows. And then I got invited to a group that Jeffrey was in. And that's how I met Stella. And then it was another girl, Carla Lynette. And then he said, Heston, I want you to do me a favor and help Kate out. And I'm like, yeah, Kate is my friend. Yeah. So I kept hounding Kate. Kate, I need that shout out. Kate, I need that shout out. Heston, I'm at work, blah, 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 but I'm going to do it. So then the new album came out, and she's got a cover song, Holding On. Oh my God, I fell in love with it. So we did that interview with her, and I just fell in love with her. You know, didn't I mean a couple of songs she did I really like, but then I fell in love with Holding On. So that's my friend, Kate Stanton.
I like how humble she is. And you got some people that's so Hollywood and they did Hollywood before it's even their time, and they act all arrogant and stuff. But she's just so down to earth, and she's so talented, and it's like that's the kind of person that end up being famous because everybody's struggling to get. She just like it's just gonna happen to her by good vibes.
Well, what was it like? You guys have already talked about her, but I love her incredibly much. What was it like getting to interview the great Stella Soleil?
See, look, it was been a secret. She been famous before. You know, that was a funny situation. Like I said, I was in the group, and Jeffrey said, I want you to talk to Stella. So the next morning, I get a notification, and she tagged me on Instagram. It was okay. We're on Pacific Standard Time, and she's on Chicago. She's like 2 hours ahead of us. So at the crack of dawn, she's literally skipping down the street, singing, "I'm on my way to Starbucks." And I just got a kick out of that. And I noticed the name. And I'm like, oh, well, Jeff asked me to. So we started talking. And she sent me some music. And I'm like, oh, okay, we know we're going to play it. So then Jeffrey asked me, had I talked to her? I'm like, yeah, we friends. I said, I rode on the plane and with her journey all the way to LA for the video. Cause she told me I'm about to go do the video at Jeffrey's house. And I'm like, wow, really, really? And she was all excited. And I took the trip with her. She did Zoom most of that day. And I was on live with her and I'm just taking a journey. And we just became friends. She was so appreciative for us playing her music because I think it was a bad week far as weather. And I stayed in, because I have mobility issues and I do a lot of stuff from home. So I just happened to be home that week and I sent her every time it played. And she was like, oh my God, that's crazy. So she started doing promo for us. She also took out a commercial and she said the commercial's working. Because I explained to her, we're new at this. We don't know our real numbers. It's hard to say, but I think it's working. And she messaged me, it's working. I want to do another month. Oh, okay. And then she even did a jingle for us, where she you guys really need to hook up with the Indy hookup and it really works. They're doing work with my music. And Jeffrey tells me that also. Now I got family members that I hardly ever talk to calling me. Oh my God, man, every time I come online, I see the Indie hookup. You guys are killing it. And it's the last person to really know is the persons on the inside that's looking out instead of on the outside looking in.
What I like
So
about Stella, she's educated because she's been on both sides. She's been on, signed to two major labels, and now she's telling the independent side. And that's the thing about these labels; they kind of burn their bridges. Not saying that there's no major labels or any labels, but maybe they're independent label with some funding. Not saying that they're not viable still, but everybody's educated on what's happening now, how they, all these platinum artists were broke and all their royalties getting stolen and all this kind of stuff. So it's all about independence. It's kind of like a catch 22 though, because it's so many, it's oversaturated stuff. So you really got to want it. You really got to put the work in. You really got to do it. And joining, networks like yourself, like you got a lot of service to that we learned about to get radio play, to get interviews and stuff. So we always try to shoot people your way as well. You got to connect with these people that are taking this new independent ground and really, multiplying it. So we thank you for that.
Well, and I thank you guys for what you guys are doing too, because you guys are making a huge mark in independent music, not only with the radio aspect of it, but giving an artist like Stella and Kate and Carla and great artists like that, giving them a platform to be able to come out and talk so freely about what it is that they love to do, the passion that's called music. And I know we've mentioned his name 1,000 times already in this interview, but the first episode that I saw of the Indie Hookup was with the incredibly talented Jeff Panzer. Now, stories line up with itself with Jeff, but I want to know, what does Jeff mean to you guys and your show?
you know, I jumped in first, Ricardo. um, it means the world to me because with all his accolades, he's just an average guy. And for him to reach out and tell me he was really happy at what we're doing. And it was funny after I found out what all he did and his background and who he's worked with. I'm telling Ricardo and I'm sending screenshots of his endorsements and who he's worked with and everything. We come on, and I think Ricardo was like 2 or 3 minutes late. We come on, he's already in the room. As soon as we pop on, he said, "Well, I guess I'll start." He didn't even introduce him to anything. He just started talking, and we just started soaking it up, and the love he has for the independent artists and his endorsement he does for us uh means the world. And like I said, how I met him, and it's this guy, this promotion company in the UK called eTunes Music. Mark Bradley is his name. And I've learned so much about the different continents as far as music. Europe is if you get over in Europe, you're doing real good. They love and embrace the artists. There's a lot of independent people over there, a lot of shows. So that's how my mom got her recognition and then come back to the States. And, Jeff, been watching from afar for years now, and for me to now know who he is. And on my mom's birthday, January 4th, my phone rings and it's him. And he goes, "This is my best impression of him. Heston, pass Carrie the phone." So I give her the phone and he goes, "Carrie, happy birthday. I love your music. You and Heston and Ricardo keep doing what you're doing." And if I have something if I have to ask the question, I call him. "Jeff, what do you think about this?" He'll take the time out and talk to me. Now, this is a guy that's been with Lil Wayne, Paul McCartney, uh, Kiss, the people he's been with. And for him to reach back and to treat me the same way he treat them, that's a blessing. So we're honored that he's sending us people and suggesting things for us to do. Right now, I'm having a lot of fun.
The best testimony you could get about somebody else is the people that they work with. If they're shouting them out, they're not giving you bad you know, "Oh, I don't know about that dude. He did this and he did that." It's always good things. It's always good testimony about him. So I don't have a lot of conversations with him like Heston does, other than the interview. But I always hear when we bring his people on, they got nothing but good to say things. He's a mentor to them, and that's what I got to give him his props for that.
Like, that's right. And he has done, and I want to say thank you, Jeff, for what you've done for me and the Indie Hookup, because we also have that in common. We would not be the shows today if it was not for him and him supplying his artists that he works with. So thank you, Jeff. And what do you guys have in store for 2026? Anything exciting?
Oh boy, I'll go first. Today, my mom has a new EP out. It's called Beauty Nap. Shout out to K.E. Durham of Black Nova Entertainment, and you too, Ricardo, from also Black Nova Entertainment. It's a group of us. Now we're going to get into how we all connected. I was in a rap group 1990, 91, 92. We were pretty close to making it to the big scene, but unfortunately things happened. And lo and behold, my mom music came out and started doing good. But in my rap journey, I met a mutual guy, Naru Quina. Shout out to him and his foundation, Hip Learning. And I'm not going to try to say the other ones because I'm a mess up right now. But he reached out to me because, I was doing pretty good as far as promoting my mom. And we ended up on Fox News. And he saw that and he found a way to reach out to me. And he says, man, I'm still rapping. I'm doing shows. I'm doing something Juneteenth. So he invited my mom and I out, and we were with his group of people, and we started introducing ourselves to each other. And, like I'm running this show right here, right now, I was running the conversation. And K.E. Durham said, man, I love to have your mom come into the studio, so mom, what do you think? She was like, okay. So he started bringing my mom to the studio, and he kept calling Ricardo. And me not knowing, Ricardo was the one running the studio, and KE didn't even know how to turn the mixing board on. So, we go over there and sit, and we have to wait for Ricardo to call for him to run it through him. And I'm like, Ricardo is good. He just telling him where stuff is, and he not even here. So, he called Ricardo more and more. So Ricardo and I start being familiar with each other. And I had a mutual friend that was the owner of the record label that we were under the rap group. He has a studio in Vegas. Ricardo moved to Vegas and to start running that studio. So with his gratitude, he remixed 4 of my mom's songs. So I have 4 original songs, 4 remixes, and 3 originals from K.E. Durham. We're putting together a best of Kerry Cleveland vinyl, 45 years in the making. And I'm going to do that. Now, I've been talking to Stella every day, and she tells me, Heston, I'm going vinyl. I'm going vinyl. Now, she has a story that I'll let her tell you, because that's her story, but I believe in her story. And my mom has a vinyl following. I had no idea, Caden. I was invited to an international record store day, and I had no idea. The people line up outside the door on that day, and I did not know it was worldwide. I'm talking to the guy that redid my mom's music. He's in London. Chris Webb, Kalita Records, shout out to them, because without them, we would not be here. I'm like, Chris, what you doing today? We going to International Record Store Day. He says, I'm already here, mate. I'm like, they got it out there? He said, yep, it's all worldwide, all over the world.
That's why they call it international. And back to the question, in 2026, sir, what else you got going on?
Oh, yeah, we got new music. Kerry Cleveland, 45 years in the making.
And you got a
Did I say
book.
that?
You got a book coming
I
out.
got a book too. Oh yeah, look, Kate, I'm way behind. We got a book. My mom is going to be in a bio documentary. She's also has her first date for performing, and that's going to be August for Mother Francis's 71st birthday party. She's a original Black Panther. They do big things for the community of Oakland. On her last birthday, my mother and I went, and they had the kids and the grown-ups, and a U-Haul truck pulls up, and she goes, "Everybody get ready for the lottery." All the kids come to the front. It was about 30 kids. And she said, "You know what? Never mind." The truck gate rolled up. Every kid got a bite. Every kid. I started crying. I'm like, oh my God, this is beautiful. This is great community work. So the Black Panthers are still doing things for the community. And a young lady messaged me 3 days ago, would your mom like to be a part and sing? Oh, yeah, we'd be honored. So that's my mom's first gig. And then we're going to a Buku event, Black Unity Conference Universal. That's a part of a group that Ricardo and I are in, that Naru and I and a few other people started, that we reconnected over 30 years. And we're doing community work. We got music with a message. My mom's got a couple of songs with them. We're going to a wellness event next Saturday. So the future is looking good for an 85-year-old lady. And the scary part is 85 and you're saying future in the same sentence.
Right, right. And also for the Indy hookup, we started with one station, which was KYBN, probably still the biggest station. But then, like Hester said, what is it, 20 some stations now? And then I started, and it's all part of the sister shows. Love Vibes, which is love music. And then this year in January, we started Jazzy Vibes. So when somebody buys every entertainment, like we don't charge for radio play or anything like that, shout outs and stuff on our social media. But we charge a very small fee to do a promo, to have a commercial. You couldn't get a commercial on a major radio stations and all the other stations for nowhere near this what we charge. I can't even say it's too low to say, but we do the commercial, we produce the commercial, put it on social media and everything. So when you get that commercial, it not only goes on the Indie Hookup, it goes on Love Vibes, which is on many radio stations, including KYBN, and Jazzy Vibes, which is on KYBN, and just started, and it's already four stations, and all of those shows are on iHeart for so they can send it and share it on demand, and get people if they can't find it on the individual shows. So, and from this 2 years coming into 2026, we were like a rocket. We're already going. So we're trying to do a network, and he already told me about you a long time ago. And like we call ourselves a family. So well, when you get to do an interview with us, you better check out Caden Gore. You need radio airplay. This man probably has the best deals I've ever seen to get that much, to get in front of that many people. I mean, it's crazy. It's like, you got to charge something when you're doing that kind of thing. So that's a lot different than what we're doing. Because we just do one production and it goes out. But the way you reach out and how you have their package is so tight. And that's what you kind of set a standard, Caden. When you send your packages to play, everything is in the right format. The name that's supposed to be. The people be sending us this crazy stuff, so we hold you up as a standard of how you're supposed to submit to a radio station to be played. So shout out for you for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
man.
Make sure that you please submit all indie artists out there. Please submit your songs and everything to these guys. These are incredible. Heston, when you get done with the book, buddy, will you come back and share with us how it
Hey,
turned
that's
out?
a yes, sir. Yes, sir. Um, it's a lot harder than I thought. Um, but
It's
this
happening
right here,
soon. It ain't gonna go
right?
by a couple more months at the most. We gonna get this out. If I had to drag him to get
Right.
this book out,
This right here, push me. The thing in with age, I have issues that I'm dealing with, life issues. So did that a kind of snag and hit a bump in the road. But people like yourself just push me. What you just saying, what you just said, that's focusing and pushing. And then I'm getting a lot of other people reaching out. Well, you need help, I'll help you. It's just me humbling myself and receiving the help. But because this project has to be done, it's not only my mom's story, it's my dad's story. And
it's
my
a love
dad,
story.
yep, it is. It's a family love story. My mother and father loved each other. They had the common love of music and they loved me. Now, um, they got married twice. And I was there both times. The first time I was in my mom's belly. And then when I was 32 years old, I was the best man of the second wedding. So, and they loved music. And then I ended up loving music. I didn't play an instrument, I was a DJ. And I would tour all around the Bay Area doing shows and parties and doing mix work for various artists. And my mom then would be, they would play sometimes 2 and 3 jobs in the same day, where I take half the equipment, go set up somewhere, and be sitting up waiting on them to finish. They were famous before I knew they was famous. You know, uh, this is all being brought back to me. Wow, my parents were this. And I'm like, wow. So with Ricardo's help, the artists we're meeting are like, oh my God, these guys are good. And the pandemic did one thing. It leveled the playing field because the superstars had to figure it out to do it themselves. The label couldn't do it for you. They was under pandemic, you know. So they wasn't in the office. So if you wanted to make it, you had to become an indie artist all over again. Sitting at home, emailing, doing all that. And now this story I got to share with Stella. Stella was two different people. She found out that I couldn't do it as an artist. I had to come up with a fictitious name, a fictitious label, and mail it out that way. And then she told us the story about they wanted them both to come down, and she had to make up a story about how the person died. But that's the stuff you got to do. If you want to make it, you got to think outside the box. And Ricardo and I have put this factory thing in the works. And the product is being boxed off and shipped to different radio stations all over the world.
There you go. And I want to get one last question from either one of you guys. And again, thank you both for joining me here on the KGC show. And I would love to host you guys back anytime that you guys have anything new and exciting dropping over there at the Indy Hookup. You guys are a part of the KGC show family. So we help each other out over here. And that's what it's all about, is giving back to those who help us get to where we're going as well. So we can't do it without each other. But for the folks that are living under a rock, where can folks go to keep up with you guys?
The
Look,
Indy hookup, I was looking what this flashing was on my on my back,
yeah,
so it kind of distracted me. The indyhookup.com, that's INDY hookup.com. And that's going to get you links to all the different shows, including your own, how to watch us there. And then iHeart if they want to do it on demand. If you want to send music as you're an independent artist, send it to the indie hookup at Gmail. That's INDY hookup INDY hookup at gmail.com, or Heston Cleveland is going to give it better attention and more. Heston Cleveland 5 at Gmail. He's going to get back to you and let you know what's going on with that. I know you cater to country. So we did do about two countries, all countries. I think we're due for another one. So if you got some artists that are going through your network, we're going to be gearing up for our all country indie hookup pretty soon. So we could definitely collab on that.
That sounds good. And you guys know where to find me. I'll always be here. And I'd love to make my way over to your show, man. You guys are a great group of guys, and very, very honored and humbled that you guys joined me here today. So thank you guys yet again. And please make sure to go check out the Indie Hookup everywhere. Basically, you get your podcast and on YouTube. That email for the artist will be in the link, or will be in the description, and so will your website. Guys, Heston, Ricardo, thank you both, and it's an honor, and hope to see you guys down the road.
Thank you,
yes,
sir.
sir. You will. Thank you. Thank you.
We love you guys, love one another, and remember, love always wins. Ladies and
Yes, sir.
gentlemen, my friend and yours, the Indie Hookup. Thank you, boys.
Peace, love, and blessings.